In this particular video, we'll try to understand the null values in MySQL. Okay, so now let's try to see what exactly the null values are. So open the google.com and here we'll search for null values in SQL. Okay, so what is null value in SQL? A null value in a relational database is used when the value in a column is unknown or missing. That means that the null value is unknown or missing. So it means that the value is not 0, the value is unknown or missing. Okay, so now let's try to insert some values into the table using the null value option. So here what I will do is, so instead of the student ID here, so I will just type. Okay, so now let's try to execute this. Okay, so we have entered the null value and now let's try to see the values in the table. Select star from student details. Let's try to execute this. And here you can see the null value instead of the student ID. Okay, so for the first three rows here you can see the student ID but for this there is no student ID, but here you can see the null value. Okay, so now let's try to see like how we can replace the null value. Okay, so now what we'll do is like now we'll try to we'll try to update the null value with some value in this particular table. Okay, so for that what you can do is like you can just use the update command or the query up, update. You can type the name of the table, update student underscore details, and now I want to replace the student ID with some value. Update student details, set student ID is equal to some value, let us give it as 25, where student underscore class is equal to 6. Okay, so now let's try to update this particular table where it is having some null value and we are replacing that null value with some specific value. Okay, so now let's try to execute this and now let us check the table again. Before it was having the null value and now whether that has been replaced with some value. So here you can see update student details, set student ID is 25 where the student class is 6. Okay, so now what we'll do is like we'll just try to delete the specific row having the null value. Okay, so for that what you can do is like you can use the query or the command delete from the name of the table, that is student details. Delete from student details where student name is equal to Ramesh Kumar, because that particular row is having the student ID null and where the student name is Ramesh Kumar. Okay, so now let's try to delete that particular row. Okay, so now let us check the table again. So now you can see that particular table with the student ID null and the student name Ramesh Kumar that has been removed. from that particular table. Okay, so this is how the null value works. So